Hello, hello, beautiful people. I'm excited to chat with you today. Here on Instagram, I've got one of my dear soul sisters and best friends, Sacha Sterling, that I'll be inviting. Sacred invitation. Let's see. Oh, there you are. Hi.
Hello.
Okay, I can see you. I can hear you.
This is my first Instagram live.
First Instagram live at your gorgeous homestead with all of the beautiful nature around you. I love it.
It's so
Amazing.
amazing.
All right, so shall we dive in? So, for those of you who don't know me, we're already getting some hearts and likes. Let's wave to the people joining.
Hey friends, hey fam.
I haven't done I don't do Instagram lives that often, but there's something magical about, the live element where we know people are tuning in live. And of course, people will catch the recording of this as well. So if you don't know me, I'm Lindsay Martin Ellis. I am in a very chrysalis phase that I've been coming out of postpartum. Both Sacha and myself, I'll give her a chance to introduce herself in a moment. Um, have little beings that we've brought into this world. And so I consider myself a mama, of course, a creative and a guide, really to support people in what that creative self expression is, to live a life fully alive and embodied and experience the fullness that this planet has to offer. And really being that bridge of bringing that higher power, that divinity, that source point into our bodies and anchoring that within so that we can enjoy our families and enjoy the work that we do and enjoy being in relationship. And so there's a very grounded and practical essence that I bring to spirituality that I believe is really needed during this time. And Sacha, without further ado, I would love for you to share more about who you are and your sacred work in the world.
Yes, I before I share that, I just want to give a shout out to our sons who coordinated their nap times for us to be able to do this. We were texting. She's like, "Is Merrick going down?" I said, "Yes." She's like, "Oh my gosh, Cove is too." So I just want to thank our beautiful sons for coordinating their nap times for us to do this live. So if we're meeting for the first time, I'm Sacha Sterling, and I'm a master empowerment coach and the creator of Spiritual Attachment Style. And I guide spiritually mature women into emotionally safe and empowered relationships with the divine, helping them to release performance and striving so they can co-create from love. And I'm I'm more clicked into the certainty of my mission now than ever before, and it feels really good, and I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to co-create with you, Lindsay. I know that we're really called to weave our gifts together to serve at this time, and it's such an important time for those of us who are called to lean in and to lean in sustainably, which I know we both care about so much.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's important. So let's just dive in. We've been brewing up something special since the fall of last year. We've talked about collaborating. We've collaborated in different ways before. You've mentored me, I've mentored you. We've shown up in different dynamics that way, but also really just as sacred witnesses and just soul sisters, really walking, very similar paths, but also very unique at the same time. And so a lot, especially since we gave birth to both of our sons, I think a lot has really crystallized because there are cycles and seasons to life, and there's nothing like the ultimate death and rebirth that is, bringing life into this world. And so this has been a long time coming, many, many months in the making, and it feels very clear that in-person work is so needed. Yes, it's beautiful that we have the capability all the time to connect all around the world. And with technology and with artificial intelligence on the rise, like really just bringing back that human to human connection. And so we have birthed a beautiful retreat called Soul Sanctuary that's happening here at my home sanctuary in Asheville, North Carolina, October 9th through 12th. Do you want to share a little bit more about what the retreat is in terms of what we're creating and what it means to you, and what we're actually going to be anchoring and embodying and bringing home with us once we experience that activation.
Yes, absolutely. So, yes, Soul Sanctuary is our retreat, which is happening over the 1010 portal. And Lindsay and I are both really committed to, or really intrigued by, what does it mean to live heaven on earth? And I really believe that it's a feeling, a frequency, a choice, and a practice. And so our retreat is going to be a sanctuary, a soul sanctuary, to come and to exhale into a very protected environment, to allow yourself to commune and align with, what does that feel like for you? What does that mean to you? And there are different entry points, and we'll be working with the chakra system, because Lindsay and I both, I mean, you've been very clear around this, that you really are the go-to for the lower three chakras, and you've been very clear that I'm the go-to for the upper three chakras, which my work would mirror that, and that we meet in the heart. And so we're bringing that framework to our retreat, and I know that it's going to be a place of play and depth and magic, and for we have so much planned, and then I know that we'll have a lot that spontaneously emerges as well.
Beautiful. So what's really been coming through, and I love it because you're outside and you have, there's sirens that I'm hearing in the background, and this is so much of what we're cultivating at the retreat, is when we talk about the lower energy centers, you know, you and I have really, again, like crystallized that in order for us to live heaven on earth, which really that means, like, what is peace to you? What is harmony to you? What does joy feel to you? Like, how do you want to go about your day? So, right, it's like bringing all of that into our everyday, and there's things that are constantly pulling us from that and distracting us, and there's energetics at play in the collective, in the world, in our personal lives, and in relationship. And so what's required is us to really feel that connection with self, with who are we, right? So that requires being in our bodies and not running away and feeling all the feelings and practicing and being in the mess of, who am I and what does this feel like and why do I have these patterns and why do I show up this way? And that's what I feel like I'm really here to support people with. And we both have that, right? It's required. It feels like it's a requirement. If you want anything that you desire in life, you've got to be here now. And it's really challenging to do. So do you want to speak to, as we talk about, you know, the lower energy centers and what that means to be grounded and rooted, and practicing what it feels like to truly be in our bodies, fully expressed and fully here, as you talk about the higher energy centers and what that means to be connected to source, higher power, spirit, whatever we want to call that.
Absolutely. So to me, and I, lower and higher is not better or worse. They're all sacred, and the intersection of holy and human and the embodiment of our divinity. And right, like you say all of the time, it's a sacred act to wash the dishes with presence, right? And so it's there isn't a way to quote unquote act spiritual or act holy. It's about the intersection of, right, like how do we want to feel? And a saying something I say all the time is, how good will I let it get? How good will I let myself feel? How good will I let it get? And that's the invitation right now, with the intensity of violence and uncertainty, the uncertainty on the planet. I've been getting messages quite a bit about how do I actually do this? How do I embody heaven on earth in the face of so much unknown? And so how to really anchor safety in ourselves, and to give ourselves permission to actually feel good and actually create lives that are a reflection of our vision, our values, and our preferences, is possible. And it is somewhat a form of activism. You know, a lot of people are addicted to their own suffering, and I'm not judging it. It is what it is. And so this is for the woman who doesn't want to play that game and is already doing her work and is, you know, and is simply looking for like, okay, more integration, more reflection, like, are there women that I can even like show all of myself to, these spiritual gifts that are coming aligned, or to just be witnessed in the messy middle? And so for me, the lower chakra centers are remembering who we are. The higher three chakras are remembering why I came here. So it's the embodiment and then the application of the knowing. And so, I mean, I could keep going and going, but I'm curious what that is for you, Lindsay. What else
Yeah.
did you say?
Yeah, what really came through as you were expressing is I believe in my heart, and I believe that you also believe this, is that when we stop being at war with ourselves is when we're going to see that reflected in our external reality. And so my form of activism is what is my sacred responsibility and what am I here to do? And for me, it's about how I'm showing up every single day in all areas of my life. And I think about if we all, like the ripple of what that could look like if we all started to live that way and really embody that and really feel that connection with self and with source. And that is wholeness, and all of it is welcome. Like the mess, you and I really, we really welcome the mess. And I believe nature inherently shows us, like, right? Transformation is messy and growth is messy. And I think so many of us are afraid to be in the mess. And so with that is integration, right? Like being in the mess is integration. It's practicing, it's playing, it's trying things on. It's why do I keep feeling this way? Why do I keep showing up this way? What is it? What is this pattern? And changing our relationship with integration, growth, and transformation, I think is really important. You know, when we talk about the convergence of the heart, you know, what I keep getting is, right, there's the will, which is the physical body, which lives in the lower chakras. And then we've got the mind and the spirit that lives in the higher three chakras. And really, our soul connection point is that heart centered space. And that's where we have that connection. That's the energy that moves us. That's the impulse that, that then integrates, like, who am I personality wise and who am I, you know, spiritually in terms of my higher self, and where do they converge, and then how can I act from that place? So there's a willingness at the heart to feel emotions, right? To be willing to experience love full spectrum, which is a scary thing because we've all been hurt in a lot of ways. And then to bring all of you into, right after the retreat, bring all of you back home, um, again, to really be in your wholeness. So it's not to say that you don't get triggered anymore or there aren't moments where you're activated or something happens. But again, it's like the relationship with it begins to change. The resonance begins to change with how you show up in the trigger, the response versus the reaction. And the more that we play and practice with that, that's how I believe our external reality shifts. Is there anything you want to add to that before we share more about the retreat? Does that land for you?
Definitely. Well, there's so many archetypes that, I mean, there's so much power in archetypes in general. And for Soul Sanctuary, we're inviting the women to try on the archetype of priestess and bring their priestessing gifts. And we're going to be communing in a circle of priestesses. And so one archetype that I really love is the alchemist. And so the alchemical priestess, and the alchemist believes that there is purpose and meaning to every single ingredient. And so from that belief that there's purpose to every single thing, the mess and the clarity, the breakdown and the breakthrough, the mundane and the mystical. So from that perspective and belief, it really invites it opens and unlocks a whole new reality. And that's what I'm intuiting that this retreat is going to be. It's going to be the energetic field for the women who are called to come and receive exactly what they're meant to receive, so that they can go home and live into their destiny, into what they're called for. And often it's refinement. It's a reframe. It's not like some big, it can be a big spiritual aha, but I know that the women who are coming are already so on path. And so sometimes it's these subtle things that just unlock a whole new reality. And it's just, it can be simple. It can, yeah, it can be simple and sacred and elegant, and maybe it is messy and loud, but maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah, we're really just creating the space again to feel into like what does this look like for me. And so we're gonna be working with the elements here, especially during, you know, just on the heels of the autumn equinox and the 1010 portal, and there's a powerful full moon happening that week, and really working with the elements in particular, which I believe the directions and the elements in particular and the seasons, it's like these distilled building blocks of creation that really like simplifies the energetics of like, okay, if it's air, like where do I not use my voice? Like if we're connecting to the earth, it's like where do I not feel connected to myself? Where am I not in my body? You know, as it relates to fire, it's like where do I not feel safe to have sacred rage, or where do I end up annihilating someone because I'm not in my body and I'm triggered and this pattern is repeating. And so again, it's just like the permission slips to be in relationship with all of it feels really important. And one of the things I really want to mention, because some of you know Sacha, some of you know myself, some of you know both of us, but one of the things that we are a stand for and we truly live day to day is our devotion with who the divine is for us. And the connection that we have is very strong and it's very clear and it's very pure. Also, how our connectedness with our bodies, right? So again, it's like we have the lower three and the higher three, and that heart connection, that infinity symbol of the circuitry of the higher self and the human self integrated. Of course, we fall off at times. Of course, there's moments, but that's what it means to be a human. And again, the like permission that we have and the resiliency and the adaptability to just know like, okay, we're flowing. And so there was an analogy Sacha shared with me recently about like thoughts kind of passing as clouds, or for example, when something really happens in our life that jolts us, learning to kind of flow with it and feel it and allow the experience to unfold without trying to resist it or stop it or block it. And so what I believe we're really here to do is be activators in this way, is that we have been devoted and committed to living a life of embodying heaven on earth for as long as I can remember you and I first meeting several years ago. And we're here to just kind of show you what's possible and show you what's working for us, and ultimately just again be a witness and create a doorway for you to explore what that looks like for yourself. So there's going to be sisterhood, nourishing meals, and you know, nature, a lot of time for rest and replenishment, and also if you want to be in ritual and ceremony with other like-minded women to fully express, this is definitely the retreat for you. And I do believe this is holy work. I do believe this is activism. I do believe that this is absolutely, this retreat will change the field. It will change our internal lives, and it will also change the collective. So if you're feeling it, DM Sacha or myself. We've got special early bird pricing happening right now. And is there anything else that you want to add that's coming through?
Affirming what you shared, you know, bridging heaven on earth, heaven being the unseen and earth being the seen. And so the elements, as you said, working with the elements, we have breath work, we have water ritual. And I'm a big believer that heaven on earth, again, is that feeling. It's a frequency and it's specific for each person. Each woman is going to have her own, it's attuning to your own specific frequency. And I'm a big believer that your own energy feels really good. The full range of it, your shame feels good, your anger feels good, your joy and pleasure and enlightenment feels good. And so Lindsay's going to guide us through somatic processes, because things do get trapped in the body. And so how to release that which is not ours, or a passive version of ourselves that is ready to be alchemized and released, and so that we can be available for that full range of our own,
Yeah.
our what that is for us. And so yeah, this is going to be really fun, really sacred, really magical. Spaces are filling up, and so if you're feeling called, if you're feeling curious, definitely DM me or Lindsay, and we're happy to answer any questions. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to co-creating with the women who come together for this circle.
Beautiful. Yeah, and we've got a 2-page flyer that gives you all the details with the dates and what's included, and we can obviously check in with you as well. Thank you so much, Sacha. I believe that more is crystallizing with our personal work in the world. So if you don't know Sacha, make sure you go and follow her and jump on her email list and vice versa. And really what we're creating here is a reflection of how we live day to day. And people are always asking us, what are we doing behind closed doors? And this is an opportunity to, you know, be in sacred space with us so that, again, we can show you the doorway that already resides within you that you may just not know exists yet. All right, beloveds, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Sacha. We'll go check on our babes. I love that they aligned their nap time.
I know,
They're
magical.
both of our sons are in service to the divine feminine, and clearly they're both going to be here with our beloved partners, supporting, watching the babes while we do our work in the world as well. And so they're going to be a part of this retreat, holding space for all of us women. So thank you so much, Sacha.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thanks for joining us live.
Bye.